All right, red-black goblins. This is one of those decks where I look at this and I go, I have no idea how this deck ever dreams of beating Hagak Vine. I assume we just get run over mercilessly and it's not close. Like, our nut draw isn't that fast and we don't really have any meaningful interaction for competing with. As we said, sideboard with firm handshake. Yeah, like, we've got some Relic of Progenitus and a Grafdigger's Cage, but this card's too slow against Hagak a lot of the time, and this card doesn't stop them from casting the 8/8 from their hands, so I think the plan is just dodge Hagak for the second deck in a row here today. This is Jim Davis's deck list. My favorite part about playing a tier 12 deck in Modern are all of the people that come in and are like, but Jeff, you're only losing games because you're playing the wrong version of the tier 12 deck, Jeff. This one's outdated. There's 4 cards that are supposed to be different, and those 4 cards really, really matter, Jeff. I promise you this deck is the best, Jeff. I don't care if you think this deck's outdated. The rate at which people chase this novel idea of that there's this really impeccable optimization that's missed, it doesn't change much most of the time. It seems fine, right? Needs another land, but pretty reasonable other than that. Sweet. This deck is probably very... This deck matchup is probably very reasonable for Goblins. The fair interactive decks like Jund, Jeskai, Blue-Red, these are matchups that are probably reasonable for what we're doing. I think I'm just attacking for one here and just waiting to draw lands. Plague Engineer certainly does not make us too happy, which is definitely a card the opponent's archetype is playing. Very, very likely that's the card they're playing. Icon of Ancestry. Yeah, yikes. I don't know. I feel like if you need special tech cards to beat your good matchups, like, why are we playing the deck? Like, if I don't stand a chance against Hagak and other really fast linear decks, and what is this getting? What, I think it's just like getting another Ringleader here. I think we're just like getting more Ringleaders, huh? You want Tarfire? Why? Because of Bob Fadot there. A mother only a child could love. Scavenging Ooze is a tough nut to crack. It's gonna get really big really fast. It's gonna buffer their life totals so the Bob doesn't kill them. I'm not playing around Plague Carrier game 1. If they want a game 1 Plague Carrier me, more power to them. They wanted it more than I did. Yeah, I could have sacked both to cast Ringleader. That's a legal play. Can you make an argument for why it's a good play? So do I want a Ringleader here, or do I want to just Siege Gang Commander? I kind of feel like I want a Siege Gang Commander. That lets me kill Bob next turn, most likely. Like, if I can cut off their card advantage, I probably grind a little bit better than they do on average. They have a hard-ish time killing Siege Gang Commander. Yeah, spending the amount of resources I have to spend there to kill Bob, though, is not profitable, in my opinion. That's why I didn't do it. Like, sacrificing 3 goblins to kill Dark Confidant with that exchange does not seem like one that's good for me. Feel free to make an argument for why. You can read all about what the scores and the deck queue mean and all the other details on the page on my website. bit.ly/UgoSellout for short. That's the Ringleader I know and love. We drew 1. Yikes. I guess we just pass. I could throw away a Goblin token to get the Piledriver down right now, but next turn I could just go Warchief plus Piledriver, and that seems fine. Nihil's Bubble, not particularly good here for them. There's still 4 idiots in my bin for them to eat with the Scavenging Ooze. Opponent being choked on mana could be our saving grace here. Do I want to just Ringleader again? I feel like I probably do, huh? Alright, so what does this one do? Whenever a goblin you control is put in a graveyard for the battlefield, you get to put a 1/1 counter on it. That's pretty good. And then this Siege Gang Lieutenant is like pretty close to lethal here, yeah. So this makes 2 goblins when it comes into play, and we can sacrifice a goblin to drain them for 1. So like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 goblins in play. This puts me up to 10. This is an 11th. Sure? As I said, Young Pizzy, if you scroll down to the FAQ section on that page is really not that much reading. All the info is there. Actually, am I supposed to play the Lieutenant already? Am I supposed to wait till it's lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think maybe I'm supposed to wait till it's lethal. It's not lethal with the swing if they have another trophy or a fatal push. They can kill it in response. So I'm just going to wait a turn. I get punished if they draw exactly Thoughtseize, but then I can probably still kill them. Yeah, see, rewarded for waiting. All right, now they're dead though, right? Because they timed that hard. They timed that wrong. Yeah, but it's been really sloppy this game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, now they're dead because they tapped out and this gets. Oh, I don't. Wait. Yeah, it's still lethal because I sacrificed 1, right? So I sacrifice a goblin for a mana, and then I have 7 plus 3 is 10. Yeah, okay. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. The hand size of the opponent is this little tiny number up here above their health totals. They currently have 4 cards in their hand. All right, so, Munitions Expert sounds great here. Want to be able to kill lots of their stuff. I don't think an Edict is very good here. The more important the information, the tinier it is. Yep, basically. I think Relic might reasonably be okay here. If its Prowl cost was played, search the library for 3 cards and exile them. So this is for combo matchups. When a land enters the battlefield, this deals 2 damage to that land's controller. I don't think this is good enough. This is probably like an anti-Valakut card, I'd have to imagine. Goblin Chainwhirler. I guess this kills Dark Confidant. So that's probably reasonable. I feel like I'm not going to be able to get under them with Knucklebone Witch a lot of times, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that. I'm going to bring in a couple of relics. Makes their Scavenging Ooze slightly worse. Neuters their Tarmogoyf. Trashmaster could be okay, just because it's an it's kind of an anti the Plagued Engineer card in a way. Yeah, maybe this is just better than these relics. I think that might be the case. Yeah, so the way this deck is built, I actually rejected this archetype a bunch of times because it doesn't seem like it's very well suited for combating Modern. So the way this deck is built, this isn't a, like, 8-whack aggro deck. I actually think those decks are pretty reasonable. This deck is built like a grindy mid-range interactive deck that without playing, like, the good interactive cards that exist in Modern, basically. Like I said, I think this deck is, like, okay against things like green-black and just kind of like the mid-range and control decks in the format. But this format in general is just not about the mid-range and control decks. It's about things like Hagak and Tron. Still type in the match timers. Of course I can still type in my opponent's match timer. What do you think this is? Why wouldn't I be able to use this as a typing box? Moto gonna Moto. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Cinemalist. This is built in a vein very, very similar to Legacy Goblins, and that style of deck just tends to not be very good in this format. Yeah, and my point is, Dow, is that the people that are chasing whatever the latest innovation is like selling that whatever the latest version of a deck is important to have is like good from a content perspective because it gets people to click on the content you're making, but from an actual fundamental practicality standpoint, like the difference between I'm willing to take the straight. The difference between this deck and 4 cards different from this deck is like very minimal. It ultimately doesn't matter. I'm just doing this and smashing them. Pretty good. Makes their Dark Confidant a lot worse when they're getting hit for 9 here, huh? Next turn we get to go War Marshal, Piledriver, Smash. Oh yeah, Liliana the Veil, sure. Bob is playing for the home team today. Oh no, not Plague Engineer. How will I ever beat the Plague Engineer, chat? Oh no. Oh no! We can never beat Plague Engineer. Unbeatable. Yeah, you have to pay just to create an account on Magic Online, and then you have to pay more money to play games. For people that are newer to Magic, it costs me $10 to join this league where I'm playing matches of Magic on Magic Online. Look at that. Look at that. Three or four more mid-range decks, please. If we play against a bunch of Jund and Jund-esque decks, we're going to have a good time this league. Ran him down. Oh, let's stand up and stretch the legs out, shall we? For my regular, something I'm going to be, I promise I'm only going to be reminding people of this for a week. My schedule has moved up a bit. So folks that normally come in about 8 o'clock, we've been live for almost 2 hours now. So I'm starting about 7 a.m. Central Standard Time moving forward. 7 a.m. till about 2 p.m. is going to be my Magic segments every day. You'll be able to find me here for about 7 hours a day. There is a schedule command. There's also a schedule link below the stream. And the schedule is found under the live stream section on my website. Soulscar Mage. So this is going to be an aggressive deck from the opponent. Interested to see if we can keep up. This card is a 1/2 with prowess, so it gets bigger every time my opponent casts a non-creature spell. And it causes damage to be dealt in the form of minus counters, which is really good because it allows their lightning bolts to like team up and kill larger creatures over the course of a couple of turns. There's card an Arclight Phoenix there, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see this pig floop into play this turn. They have a Gut Shot or a Surgical Extraction, they can do that. Does not look like they have that, thankfully. Really hoping to draw a third land here so we can get Goblin Matron down. And the opponent's deck tends to be incredibly aggressive on average, so I would not be surprised if we don't have space to stumble here. I assume missing this third land drops a death knell for us. Cast a Manamorphose, cast a Faithful Student. They need to cast one more spell here. Yep, there's a Lava Spike. So the Phoenix is coming into play here. We're taking 7, and this is pretty much a can't come back territory. Alright, so... Oh, you know what? I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I just realized that I forgot to turn the AC up, or mostly off, when my wife and kids left this morning, because it stays relatively cool in my basement, and the AC in this room gives a little bit of a background hum that's annoying for some people. So when Christy and the kids are not here while I'm working, I like to make sure it's off. All right. Relic's a little slow here, but it's what we've got in terms of graveyard hate, so I think we're boarding in at least some of them, maybe all of them. Grafdigger's Cage seems fine. I think Warren Weirding is probably fine. This is slow and doesn't really kill anything. This seems incredibly slow. Feel like Siege Gang Commander is not an access we really want to be fighting on. I think Lieutenant's worth keeping because it gains us life. Yeah, right, Jin? I still need 4 more cuts, though, to fit all these things in. Is it crazy to cut the Goblin Matrons? I think I'd rather have Ringleader than Matron, just because this is a 2-2 with Haste. I think both these cards are slow, but I think Ringleader's slightly better. I could. If someone with more experience told me they'd rather have Matron than Ringleader here, I'd believe them, but I think I'd rather have Ringleader. Once we... Next summer we won't have this issue, because when we get my new office space built out, not only will there be soundproofing in the walls, but it's going to be on the other side of my basement, instead of right next to where the AC unit is. Yeah, see, it looks fine. It can't cast Munitions Expert on 2, but it's got an Aether Vial. Are we bidding Warchief here or Ringleader? I think we might actually be bottoming the Warchief. I've literally never heard AC noise on your stream. Yeah, it's very low, but if I turn it all the way up, you can definitely hear it when I'm not talking. And enough people comment on it, and it doesn't really need to be running when Christy and the kids aren't here that I turn it off, but I don't know, even when I put headphones on, I have to be silent and I have to turn it up a good bit to hear it, but people hear things on different frequencies, so it's not so bad that, like, if Christy and the kids are here, we obviously let it run because I don't want them to be uncomfortable upstairs, but if they're not here, I might as well save the energy too and not have it running. I can hear it when I watch the YouTube vids at a higher speed. Weird. Yeah, a lot of them, it's not very common. I only leave it running when I'm streaming while the kids are home or Christy's home, and that's not too often, because they're generally at daycare and work while I'm working during the day. Morning, dude. Yeah, and like while I'm streaming Magic Arena too, like Magic Arena has a game noise and like a music soundtrack underneath it, so it's almost completely indistinguishable in that game, even when I'm not talking. Play a relic here. Magic Online has sounds too. It does. It doesn't have a music soundtrack though. And like having a constant other noise is what makes it pretty indistinguishable. Lava Dart. That's rude. Yeah, it's also one of those things where, like, if people aren't listening for it, they don't hear it. But then, like, as soon as someone brings it up, they're like, oh, yeah, I noticed that now. Also, there's definitely a phantom effect, too. Like, people think they're hearing things that they're told are supposed to be there. Like, if you tell someone they're supposed to be hearing something, suddenly they'll hear it. I've told this story before when this has come up, but I spent undergrad and graduate school working as an audio engineer for a small theater and some various dive bars. And like the number of times people would be like, I can't hear this in my monitor, can you adjust it? And you'd be like, how about now? And they'd be like, yeah, that's perfect. You'd be like, you idiot, I didn't touch anything. Just be like, then they're in their head, they're hearing something that's not actually there. I think I'm actually just supposed to kill this now while they're tapped out. I think I'm just supposed to do this before they get a chance to prowess. This does damage equal to the number of goblins I control. So let's just do this before they have a chance to make it bigger. Goblin Omnath, yep. It's no, Munitions Expert is no Gem Palm Incinerator, but it's what we've got in Modern. Is it wrong to pop the Relic here to try and hit my 4th land? I feel like it's not. This might be too aggressive, though. And I'm actually going to leave this on 2. No, I'm going to take it to 3. Because if I miss on the land here, if I miss on the land this turn like I did, I want to be able to put Ringleader in off of this. We were on the play. Opponent had kind of a slow start. Looks like we might be scraping this one out. Ringleader's definitely looking a little bit better than Matron here, I feel. Good morning, Mr. Davis. All right, get to crank this bad boy up to 4. For a true professional, we'll find a Tarfire or another munitions expert on this Ringleader. The gang is all here. They are ready to be ring-led. I found 38 goblins off my Ringleader. Thanks for the continued support, Tom. Welcome back. I don't think I'm into trading my Piledriver for this Arclight, especially with 2 more Ringleaders in my hand. So I think I'm just gonna pass here. I also think they're probably pretty likely to be able to floop this bird back into play next turn. So I think I'm gonna hang tight on offering this trade. Wow, they're just conceding. All right, I guess they had 5 cards in their hand. I guess their hand must have been pretty bad. Relic ended up being kind of okay there. Goblin Ringleader is like Jim's Kiki Jiki. He just can't help himself sometimes. Registered more Kiki Jikis than I should have, lifetime. I think I'm happy with how he sideboarded. Let's just go ahead and run it back. That's true. At least Ringleader is castable. Died with many a Kiki Jiki routing in my hand with 5 or 6 lands in play. It's like, and you cost triple red. Yep. Does Relic do anything in this matchup? Yeah, so a lot of times the opponent's deck plays Bedlam Reveler. Relic of Progenitus can also stop Phoenix from coming back into play if you have a mana up to activate it. So it covers 2 angles of attack that their deck frequently has. We know they have a Phoenix. They likely have Bedlam Reveler. Sometimes they play Seasoned Pyromancer now too, so it can exile that from the graveyard before they exile it to make elementals. I don't know if the mono red version plays Finale of Promise. Yep. Yeah, I mean, the Vanafear deck on my site right now has a literally uncastable Kiki in it. Oh. And, like, this is one of those, like, am I supposed to mulligan this hand? Like, it's like a reasonable Goblin's hand, right? But, like, they're playing something really aggressive. I don't have any of my cards that interact with the graveyard. I don't have a Tarfire. I don't have, like, a 1-drop into Munitions Expert to quickly have removal. If this hand finds a 1-drop or a castable 2-drop, it's pretty good. I have seen the Bant Soul Herder deck. Seen that one making the rounds. Are they about to turn one? Wait, what? Gut shot you, cast light up the stage. That's a sequence. Maybe they're gonna miss their land drop. They kept 7 cards. That light up the stage was not particularly good for them. Just gonna, like, deal 4 to me this turn. This is a medium draw. If we draw a Black Source, we're probably happy to have this card. Although, I guess they probably don't have any 1-drop creature they would have let on 1, right? Almost certainly. Their doorbell rang, their child knocked their drink over, their cat stepped on their keyboard. Lots of different things. So I assume we're just taking a 4-ball here from the Lava Dart and the Lightning Bolt in exile. And if they don't 4-ball us with those, they're losing value on this light up the stage. Cat knocked a child onto the doorbell. There you go. Cover all the angles. I'm trying to envision like what an ideal draw looks like for us here. Like, what am I looking to pick up next turn? The 2-drop that makes a token is probably not a bad pickup because it makes Munitions Expert slightly better. Just drawing lands would be okay too, though. Like, guaranteeing a Black Source so I can cast this eventually and also cast this on 3 seems fine. Hey, Mogg War Marshal, look at that. Sweet. And then I think we're paying Echo here. What's the upside of getting Warchief into play a turn sooner? I guess the upside of getting Warchief into play if we draw a land is pretty high. So maybe we are supposed to just let it die. I think I'm just gonna let it eat it. Perfect. Just like we drew it up. I think we're gonna go ahead and do this now. They'd have to have 2 removal spells here to punish this. Oh, I'm done. They have Lava Dart in the bin. I guess this gets some prowess triggers out of them now, which is okay. We're not going to kill the Soulscar Mage, but it forces them to blow their load here now. Echo means that you have to pay its cost again the following turn or it dies. So I had to either pay 2 or sacrifice the War Marshal here. I think this ends up being fine overall. Sure. So, like, they're down to 1 land, and, like, they have 2 cards in their hand. Miner's been pretty okay this morning. We're 1-1, or we're 1-0 with Goblins right now. I think we're 1-0. Yeah, we're 1-0, and we're in game 3 here. And then we went 3-1 with Blue Moon this morning. I think I'm into just gaining 2. They're a burn deck. I think I just want to use this as a gain 2. Hey, Bloodbath, thanks for the 14 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. We found some friends. Ringleader finds Ringleader every time. War Marshal. Opponent has conceded from the game. Yep. All right, we stabilized there a little bit. Seems pretty good. Pretty good. All right, 2-0. The old undefeateds. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Hopefully we can dodge the Gak. Yeah, this hand seems pretty good, right? The Knucklebone Mogg War Marshal curve is pretty sweet. We've played 6 matches of Modern this morning, and we've played against 0 Hoggox. So everybody's just on the honor system so far, assuming it's going to be banned and playing other things. Hey, TZTFG, thank you for the 8 months of support. Welcome back. Hope your Wednesday is treating you well wherever you're at in the world. That Eldrazi Temple. So I'm attacking for 1 this turn regardless. If I play the Piledriver next turn, I'm attacking for 4. Whereas if I play this next turn, I'm attacking for 3. The nice thing about Mogg War Marshal is it cranks up Munitions Expert faster though. So I think I'd like to play the War Marshal because it forces their Thought-Knot Seer to take Munitions Expert right away if they have it. This matchup's probably not too bad. Their deck has some big plays, but our ability to grind and our lack of caring about Chalice of the Void on 1 is probably pretty good for us. Walking Ballista, sure. Hey, CBC Spartans, thank you for the 10 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. We're going to decline to pay the echo cost on this War Marshal, which means it's going to die. And when it dies, the old Knucklebone Witch here gets a 1/1 counter, and this makes a 1/1 when it dies as well. Hey, thanks for the 17 months, Sunhouse. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So we'd really like to draw a land here, so that way we can play Warchief. Alright, I think with that in mind, we just play Piledriver here. We could be getting our thoughts picked dead here. Looks like that's what's about to happen. I assume we're going to lose Munitions Expert because that's what kills this Thought Seer here. This is definitely a card we're going to want more copies of post-board. Huh. On the job hunt, called myself an marketing expert in a cover letter. Hope your day is going better than mine. Thanks for the 19 months, twin. Typo's gonna typo sometimes, unfortunately. I think I just field them and play Knucklebone Witch and serve. I think that's the plan. I think it's field them, play Knucklebone Witch, and then serve. Because that way, if they trade here, this gets bigger. If they just eat one of these, they take 6 and this gets bigger, so. I think this ends up okay for us here. See if they have another big scary this turn or not. Blast Zone's annoying. Really like to draw a red source here so I can go Warchief into War Marshal attack. Got a Smusher on defense. Yep. I feel about just taking them off Blast Zone here. Get the War Marshal down. Yeah, they're down to 12 here. I think the hope is like they don't have another big thing. If they have another big thing, we're going to be in like board stall territory, which isn't great for us. There's an Urza's power plant next to waste currently. Previously, it was a Blast Zone. Unfortunately, the way this worked out, I would have been better killing the Temple and the Tron land, but I just can't. I just can't know that. I think I'm declining to pay for this, so I don't mind making Knucklebone Witch a little bit bigger. Remember this, another Goblin you controls dies, deal 1 damage to any target. Yep. Is it crazy to attack with, I think I'm just attacking with I think I'm attacking with these. I think I'm doing this. This card is sweet. Yeah, that block seems really bad. Definitely pretty ideal for me. I think they shouldn't have blocked with a Thought-Knot Seer, right? Because if they don't block with the Thought-Knot Seer, I don't get to kill it and draw another card. And like they only take 1 more damage and this stays a 5/5. So we're basically looking to fade like all is done. We're looking to fade like removal at this point, essentially. This is an Endbringer. Sure. So this is sack a goblin, create 2 goblins. Do I offer Knucklebone Witch for Endbringer here? I almost feel like I'm supposed to. Yeah, because otherwise they're just going to be able to make it not attack, right? They might just jump with this Reality Smasher. And so if I sacrifice this... yeah, the 1/1's probably a free attack. I don't know. If I sacrifice this, this becomes a 7/7, and I get 2 1-damage triggers, so I'm 1 short of killing both their things here, unfortunately. I think I'm just sacrificing the goblin this turn and making 2 more goblins. Is that crazy? Maybe I'm just supposed to Ringleader. I don't know, like, we've been stumbling for a little while. I mean, this uses my max mana too. You can Warchief and Matron. Nope, that's not how that works. That's a pretty good Ringleader. When in doubt, draw cards. This reduces goblin spells by 1, chat. So this costs 3, and then this would cost 2. I have 4 lands. Quintus Flavius, thank you for the 5 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah. Prospector plus Mons here could be lethal. Rats, that's annoying. Land would be good here. I think I'm just supposed to start getting Warchiefs down now. So I only get to do 1 thing this turn, but like, then next turn I can go Warchief into Matron or Warchief into Ringleader. Karn the Great Creator, sure. This is probably getting a bridge, huh? I guess it could be getting Lattice, theoretically. Walking Ballista, yep, that's a good one. Is Siege Gang lethal? Maybe? Often? So Siege Gang puts... They all have haste. They block a 2. They take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and they take 1 from the trigger. Yeah, I think Siege Gang's lethal, right? Because they block 2, and they take 5, 10, and then 1. Yeah, Siege Gang's exactly lethal with the trigger from this. Beep beep. Yeah, that is a MTGO only chalice. Meep meep. Yeah, he triggers on himself. Bink. Is there a reason this deck plays so many one-ofs? Yeah, Goblin Matron tutors your one-ofs. Onset nonsense. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. Oh, is that going to be the new Judge promo one? All right, so Tarfire's not very good here. Munitions Expert is great. Warren's Weirding seems fine. Goblin Chainwhirler doesn't really accomplish a whole lot. I have 3 more cards I need to cut here. Catch you later, Jim. Have a good one. I feel like trimming some amount of 1s is probably okay, because I assume that they're going to leave some chalices in against me. So I think at least 2 of these are going away. Maybe we just go down to 1, honestly, and just leave 1 to tutor for with Matron. I like Knucklebone Witch better than Prospector, because Knucklebone Witch can get bigger than their Eldrazi like we saw in that last game. I think if you're not playing against the super fast linear decks in Modern, this deck's fine. So if you run good with your pairings, you're going to be okay. I don't think this is a Thoughtseize matchup, mostly because I'm expecting them to keep Chalice in. Is 3 relics in a cage a serious attempt to fight Hogok? It's not. If we queue into Hogok in this league, I'm planning to concede and go to the next match. This archetype without 4 ley lines on the board is probably never beating Hogok. And even with 4 ley lines in the void of the board, you're only beating it by playing the terrible, did I mulligan to my hate, did you mulligan to your anti-hate? I'm going to keep this hand. It's not amazing, but I think it's in the range of keepable. It's got a couple okay goblins. It's got a Field of Ruin. Let's do it. There's a goblin who exiled graveyards, it'll be fine. I don't think that's true. One shot exile effects generally aren't good enough in that matchup, because of the way priority works with Hogok. Huh. So we know they don't have Tron. But I also don't really... Oh, this can hit Planeswalkers. Okay. Well, I was going to say we're just going to field them anyways. We don't have anything better to do. But this hits Planeswalkers, so that's fine. Correct, Singermer. So unless there's something else on the stack. So if they put Hogok into the bin while there's something else on the stack, you can exile him. But if the stack is empty and after Hogok enters the bin, the opponent can cast him right away. This card's really good. Yeah, Rip on a Goblin. Yixlid Jailer on a Goblin could maybe be okay. Could see that one being fine. Yixlid Jailer could be okay on a Goblin. They named Sling-Gang Lieutenant with the Spyglass. So I think I'm just ringleadering here. I'm gonna go ahead and offer this trade here. No, Spyglass can name lands. All right, so we do this. We do this. Oh, no. This turns off my Aether Vial. I'm dumb. That's awkward. I knew that somewhere in the back of my mind. Awkward. They're still at 20, so I'm going to kill Karn here. Alright, that gives them Tron, but like, they already had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. It's like the difference between 7 and 20 is like not that big of a difference. Unless they have like Walking Ballista. And next turn we'll get to field them, so that's nice. Are they dead? If they don't have a removal spell, they're dead, right? Any plans? I'm writing a Jeskai Tempo Primer with Sideboard Guide. Yeah, one got published last week on Cool Stuff Inc. So it's already written and published. I should probably tweet that. I don't think I had Christy tweet that out. I should probably have her tweet that. Alright, so they can either kill Piledriver and live, or they're dead, I believe. I haven't counted, but I just assume this many goblins is lethal. It's a 15-2, yep. Got a witch member here. I drew a card. Alrighty then. 3-0 dropped one game. Not bad.jpg. How we doing, folks? Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody wherever you're at in the world. Thanks for dropping in here today. If you're a new viewer, my name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, sometimes even 50 hours a week. If you enjoy constructed Magic, this is definitely the channel for you. We play some of Magic's older formats on Magic Online every single morning to start things off, and then we roll on into some Standard on Arena in the afternoons. As always, love to give a shout out to my wonderful subs. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their wonderful support, so thanks to all of them for keeping me employed. I'd also like to plug a couple of my wonderful sponsors here really quick. The Nerd Rage Gaming Championship Series is a $5,000 cash tournament series that happens every single month in the Midwestern United States. If you can't make it out to the Midwest to play in one of their standard, modern, or legacy tournaments, check out their streaming coverage as well at twitch.tv/NRG series. BCW Supplies, the only ones I trust to protect my paper. Trading cards using code Jeff10 at bcwsupplies.com. You can save 10% on their already fantastic pricing on sleeves. Their Elite Guard 2 start at just $8 before that discount. Cardsphere.com would love to help you turn your cards into other cards with their peer-to-peer trading network. There's no haggling, and they just take a 1% fee off the top. And, of course,
don't make your life garbage time. Join us in Hoaglandia today by subscribing to Jeff Hoagland with Twitch Prime today.
Remember, if you're one of the many people in the world who has that Twitch Prime, even if you don't drop it off here, make sure you drop it off somewhere. It's like free dollary dues that you get to take from Amazon and put them in the pocket of someone streaming here on Twitch. And if you are someone who has Amazon Prime, he's going to link those accounts up and you get that included for free with that. All right, 3-0, heading on into the fourth match. This is a pretty easy mulligan here. It's a lot of lands. We're on the play, but I'm gonna gamble a little bit. Let's keep this one. I think I'm gonna bottom Matron here. Yeah, one of my buddies paid for that. He thought it would be a fun gag gift, and it was great. So we've been running it while we play. Nothing but net. Nothing but net. Alright, so Piledriver is the fastest damage output here, right? So let's just do that. And thanks for the 11 months, Lifespan. I appreciate it. Yeah, our opponent's Tron deck didn't play Tron on 1. Seems loose. Alright, so I think I'm going to just get really aggressive here. And, like, I'm just going to sacrifice this to make this Knucklebone Witch a little bit bigger. I guess keeping it makes the Piledriver bigger, but they're hopefully going to be dead before that's relevant, right? So, like, this is a hit for 5. And then next turn, if I pay 2, I'm attacking for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to put them to 3. I guess if I would have declined the Echo here, I could have played Mons out, which might have given us lethal through an Oblivion Stone. Because if they have Tron Piece O-Stone here, we're going to be in trouble. Alright, so I only have 5 mana here. It's a fairy wheezing, and it has like a smokestack on top of its head. That's weird. It's got like a smog mustache. That's awesome. It's totally a bong. It's a bong wheezing. That's definitely what it is. It's a bong. Oh. That's hilarious. A gentleman bong wheezing, excuse you. Yeah, sorry. Alright, so Tarfire doesn't seem very good here. Thoughtseize seems excellent. Goblin Chainwhirler doesn't accomplish a whole lot. Munitions Expert doesn't accomplish a whole lot. I think I want the Trashmasters just as like a Lord effect. I'm gonna trim Siege Gang because it's a little expensive. I think the goal here is to just like bear down, right? Just like be as aggressive as possible. You know, it's impressive. I often think like this is like the peak stupidity that like Republicans can show. But someone just responded to a post that I made about worrying about my child's safety at school due to gun violence with I should exercise my Second Amendment right. You want me to send my 5-year-old to school with a handgun? Is that your suggestion? That's what we're thinking about? I should follow my child around with a handgun and like shoot at people who I think might want to shoot at him? Like, good golly. In the least nice way possible, if you think the solution to gun violence in the United States is more guns, fuck you and don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out on my channel. I don't need your money or your stupid opinions. Oh, I'm aware of the statistics of the probability of a child being injured by gun violence based on owning a gun in your home. I'm aware, but you need to understand is that facts and data have an inherent liberal bias. That's the thing you need to realize when you're interacting with people that support the GOP still. Thanks for the brand new Prime support there, Bunkler. Welcome. Oh, this hand's like really good if we run some lands off here, huh? I guess it's not that good. Nah, I probably wanna... Subs out, guns out, wasn't it? Oh, sun's out, guns out. Ugh, people. I think we're gonna mulligan. I think we're gonna mulligan for a Thoughtseize. We're gonna mulligan for a Thoughtseize. This mana base Field of Ruin is like technically interaction in this matchup, right? Thank you for the brand new Prime support there. Sycamore no more. Welcome. I think I keep this and I bottom the Matron and I hope that they don't have turn 3 Tron and that these Field of Ruins have a chance to do something. Yeah, Field of Ruin is frequently too slow on the draw. The problem is that, like, my deck doesn't have that many fast ways to interact with Tron. So, like, I'm kind of just, like, hoping to cobble something together. So I feel like their best Tron draws are just going to get us when we're on the draw. Yeah, and like I've talked about that on stream before, Singer. People who are like true conservatives, I almost feel bad for them in the United States because the United States doesn't have a conservative party. It has like the Democrats who have moderates like Biden, and then it has whatever the nonsense that the GOP has become in the last decade. Well, that's a black source. So we've got that going for us. And they don't have turn 3 Tron, so we're gonna have to like field them into the Stone Age here. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the people in the Democratic primaries, there's a big range of people that range from pretty close to what I would call a centrist that I don't like Biden, to like people that are very progressive, and the GOP's just swung so incredibly far, right? All right. My one and my 3 Field of Ruins. I'm not saying we have a good plan, but I am saying the plan exists. I should have waited to field until during their upkeep, because I technically gave them a mana to activate the map here. And this is going to be a good example of, like, you need a clock to back up your disruption against decks like Tron, because, like, I'm gonna field them a bunch here, but I'm only attacking them for 1 while I'm doing it, so I'm not really making inroads towards killing them. Yeah, it's probably not fair to call centrist to Biden based on how far right a lot of the GOP is, but if you look at on a global scale, like the things he's putting forward compared to like what other countries do, he's definitely fairly center compared to all other countries in the world positions. Should we have played the Mutavault on turn 2? Yes, if I'd have played the Mutavault on turn 2, I could have attacked with it this turn, right? That's a good catch. Yeah, I could have. I missed 2 points of damage because of my land sequencing. Thank you for pointing that out. And like with this Oblivion Stone, I'm like, and this is like the peak Tron thing, right? Like they're just like, make a land drop, make a land drop, make a land drop, cast my 6-drop. It's just like, oh no. It's like, can't beat a Worm Coil on turn 6. I also don't think I can't beat Walking Bliss. I'm gonna concede. I think we're dead here. Let's try and play game 3. If we wrap game 3 quickly, we can sneak in a match 5 before we move to standard. I think I'd be willing to bet that this video is gonna get a reasonable number of views on YouTube, which also means my comment about guns is gonna get a bunch of thumbs down. Not that I really care, because any engagement counts as engagement on YouTube. So we'll squeak all 5 in on this one, I think. Unless we have some sort of really long game 3, but I can't imagine our deck plays very long games against Tron ever. I think it's like someone's getting run over. Yeah, seeing sweet. Thoughtseize on 1 into Piledriver. If we just hit land number 3, we get to go Warchief into Ringleader. It's a lot of pressure. Yeah, Birdie's record is very reasonable. I would be very content with Birdie as the pick and as the president. I think I prefer Warren and Buttigieg in general. They're also fairly progressive. One of the biggest worries to me, honestly, and I'm sure some people will give me crap for saying this, but Bernie's age is concerning to me. He's at an age, and Biden, this is true of Biden and Trump too, they're just at ages where, like, them having some kind of natural health issue during their presidency is a very real possibility. So, like, who is running alongside Bernie, in my mind, is just as important as what Bernie is. So, like, I have to be very okay with whoever his running mate is in order to support him, in my mind. But we don't get to find out those things for a while. All right. What you got? Stirring around over there. Please play a forest this turn. Yes, yeah, Trump, Birdie. Wouldn't Biden, that'd be true of Biden too, right? We missed our land here. If they hit their Tron piece, we're probably dead. If they don't hit our Tron piece, we might be okay stumbling for a turn. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with Castro's positions. I should probably fix that and get familiar with them. but he did have a good spots in the debates that he's talked in so far for the small amounts he was able to talk. Would really like a land. Would really like a land. That's another Piledriver. Yikes. So, I think the Piledriver is like one of our better non-land draws here, right? Because does this give me lethal next turn if I draw land? If I draw land next turn, Warchief comes down with Haste, and then each of these get +7 or +6. So yeah, so land is still lethal next turn, assuming they just spin their tires this turn. If they hit Tron, though, they're going to get to play a Worm Coiler and Oblivion Stone, and then, like, all bets are off. But if they just spin for one more turn here, we have a chance to draw a land and kill them. Let's play match 5. And that was kind of how I expected that to go. Like, we won the game where the Tron deck didn't do its thing, and then, like, the games where the Tron deck Troned, we just, like, got thoroughly outclassed. And that's kind of what I was expecting from this deck. So, like, I think this deck's probably very reasonable against things like green-black and blue-white base control. But I think in any of the really good modern decks like Tron and like Hagak, I think you're just dead to rights with this unless they have an incredibly poor draw. Like we just don't have the tools in our 75 to really be competitive in those matches. These colors and these creature types. Yeah, this deck is basically a mid-range deck, Tony. Yeah, and like a lot of bad mid-range decks in Modern, this deck generates a lot of good games of Magic. Like the first 3 matches we played, we had a lot of back and forth, we had a lot of meaningful decisions. There's a ton of good games with B-list decks against B-list decks to be had in this format. That's part of the reason why we accept the B-list decks still. It's like hoping to hit those other B-list decks and play some interesting games of Magic. Lighthammer, thank you for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Monthly reminder, don't let your memes be dreams, and Baby Tef is great for Standard. Get out of here. Thanks for the 16 months distinction. Maybe with a more focused sideboard. I just don't think the tools exist for this deck to be competitive in those matchups. I think if you really wanted to beat graveyard decks, you could put a bunch of Leyline of the Voids in the sideboard of this deck, and then you, like, play the miserable subgame of, did I hit my Leyline with my mulligans, and did my opponent hit their Nature's Claims? Like, you could play that type of game with this deck. It's not a good game of Magic, it's not an interesting game of Magic, but, like, maybe you have a chance. Our opponent has played a Cavern on Human. This match is very important, chat. We are now playing for tribal dominance in Modern. Right on time, Aether Vial. I think I'm supposed to play that here. I agree, Lighthammer. I can say really radical things like more guns is not the solution to gun violence, and I don't have to immediately ban 12 people. Which is nice. So we're hoping to run some lands off here. Yeah, my big worry when we moved to sub-only was that we wouldn't have a constant flow of chat, but that's just proven to be a non-issue, which has been nice. How do we ever beat a Thalia? Oh no, not Thalia. Hopefully, so long as they don't Stoneforge and get Umezawa as GTA, we should be okay here. Wait, wrong format. I can't pay for Echo. We're not here to pay for Echo. Yeah, right? The fact that she's a first striker is really, really what we're looking for. How do we beat a 2-1 first striker is the real question. Do I believe in universal basic income? I think the idea that we're going to automate... I think a lot of the things that Yang says are definitely going to be true at some point. I think things like healthcare are a more pressing issue to get sorted as opposed to like pushing for universal basic income now. But I think at some point in the next couple of decades, something like that is going to need to happen, most likely. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's reasonable, Genesis. There's just so much middle ground between no guns anywhere and what we do now. Just like start working towards that. I think if Yang gives everyone $1,000 a month, landlords raise rent by $1,000 a month. I don't think that's true. I think the way things actually work out are a little bit further from that. Yeah. I think that's not how economics actually end up working a lot of the time. Dauntless Bodyguard. That's an interesting one. Ideas like that though, where the idea that like if you put more money into the hands of working class people, that like it just is a net negative and doesn't have any impact, is just like, that's the same kind of stuff you hear against like raising the minimum wage. It's just like not true. Really looking for lands here, huh? Especially a red source. If we get a red source, we get to go War Marshal into Warchief. The minimum wage increases cause more automation. I think that's a silly way to pass the blame too. I think automation in every field is coming, and it has nothing to do with what it costs for that labor, because it's basically always going to be cheaper to automate than pay people any amount of money. Automation is inevitable regardless of how much you're paying people. I feel like it was like forgotten somewhere along the way that like technology was supposed to just like improve everyone's lives. Like that's ultimately should be the goal of it, right? Is that like tech should make people's lives better. It shouldn't just make people like Bezos piles of money. I don't think I'm at a point where I'm blocking this with 3 goblins. I think this is a free chump block, right? Because it's going to die next turn anyways, so there's no way I'm paying for it. Fully automated Twitch Magic streams, yep. Yeah, there's definitely some amount of changes that happen. Like anybody saying nothing's gonna happen is also being silly or lying or whatever. But like saying that there's a direct like equal correlation just like isn't true. Like I agree with you. Something happens. I also think we probably don't have enough marked data to know with certainty what that thing is. It's kind of the same thing we talk about with regards to magic bans, right? People inherently are just so afraid of change that, like, even change that could possibly be very positive for a lot of people, they're just afraid to have it happen because it's just much easier to maintain the status quo, right? Rather than take a risk. That was a Ringleader trigger. The future workplace will have 2 employees, a human and a dog. The human will feed the dog, and the dog will keep the human from touching the automation. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think anybody reasonable identifies with everything that, like, every candidate, like, the Democratic Party, for instance, you know, believes or, like, puts forward. And, like, we've talked about in the past where, like, Obama's record on PolitiFact was, like, 26% of the things he said were somewhat untrue or outright lies. And in my opinion, 26% of the things that come out of your mouth being incorrect or wrong when you're the president is too much. But then like, you get to Trump, who's like 60 to 70% somewhat incorrect or outright lies, and it's like 26% was too much. 70% is absurd. And like, neither of those things are okay. And you get so many people caught up in the whataboutisms of like, well, Obama also told some lies. Like, yeah, that was wrong, but he's not the president anymore. So let's like focus on the current administration, talk about what's wrong here and fix the present instead of worrying about the past, right? All right, humans. Munitions. I'm not convinced that this deck shouldn't just have 4 Munitions Experts in the main. I feel like I keep boarding this card in. I definitely want that. I think Warren's weirding is fine here. Even when an Edict's not going to be great, I might honestly make myself sacrifice something to get 2 tokens at some point. I think I want some Trashmasters here. Goblin Chainwhirler sounds great. What do I want to cut here? Is it crazy to cut Piledriver because the board's going to be really full a lot of the time and it's likely never attacking in? I feel like that's probably the case. What are my other trims here? Warchief could maybe go away. Maybe this Warren's weirding isn't good enough. Is it crazy to cut these as the last 2? I feel like those are the last 2 I want to cut. I'll trim a Prospector. It's just a random 1/1. For people that are here for Standard, normally we will be starting Standard about this time. Just wrapping up this Modern League here. This is game 2 of our 5th and final match with this deck. So we'll be rolling on into Standard after this game, or possibly one more if we lose this one. Yeah, this game seems fine. I think I'm bottoming the Field of Ruin. Aether Vial is a pretty good pickup. One of the weird things that I always find about like office culture. So I worked as a systems analyst for a Fortune 500 company for like a year and a half after grad school before I did the stay-at-home dad thing and streamed for a while. And the fact that we pay people based on the hours they work instead of the tasks that they accomplish feels kind of weird to me. Like, for instance, when I was there, a lot of what I did was, it actually wasn't even what they hired me to do. What I ended up doing was a lot of automation type stuff, a lot of report. I was handling a lot of different reports, and I was automating the generation of those reports using Excel macros. And like, by the time I left there, I had taken on the work of like what had previously been 3 people apparently, and I was only spending like 12 to 20 hours a week, if that, doing the tasks that previously 3 people had done. And it's like, but I was still there showing up for 40 hours a week because you were expected to be there and work 40 hours a week, right? The average American worker is productive for 2 hours and 53 minutes out of their 8-hour day. I would believe that. That is a metric that, based on my experience, is believable. Laughs in Twitch at work. Yep. Alright, so we're going to put in the Prospector. I want to disagree with that, but I'm commenting on Jeff's stream, so... It's like, it was funny, I always, when people would ask me to do stuff and I'd like tell them what my turnaround time they'd be like, oh, you can do this in 2 days? And I'd be thinking to myself, I'm actually going to do it in 2 hours, but I'm going to tell you 2 days because me telling you 2 days is going to make you happy. Because me doing it in 2 days is faster than most people are going to get it back to you. So it's like, I get to dick around for a day and a half, the person who gave me the task is super happy, and I look like a model employee. I remember them telling me, we don't know how we're going to get by without you, when I eventually left, and I was just thinking to myself, I don't really do much with all the automation I've done. I give it 2 weeks. Yeah, I believe you. This card is really annoying, huh? I was a paid intern for a company, and they would give me 15 to 20 hours for 40-hour work week, or sometimes 5 to 10 for 40-hour work week. And when I would have nothing to do, I would get in trouble and told to find something, which was nothing. Later, they put me in a different job because I wasn't supposed to be doing, and got my hours changed. Rough. Visible results always trump results. Yeah. The engineer who went on vacation and didn't tell anyone and nobody noticed. That sounds about right. Oh, that's a 2/2 I can never interact with. Protection is such a fun and interesting mechanic, chat. I'm really glad that protection is part of standard again. Getting to experience protection from your deck is really enjoyable. I feel like we're kind of dead from here. Like, I don't know how I ever come back from this position, right? Like, their things are big and they have protection from red-black. I don't have a Ringleader in sight. And, like, by the time I go wide around this, they're going to beat me down with big creatures and protection creatures. There's really no substitute for experience in a lot of spots. I was definitely someone who didn't think it was a big deal to like print Land War Elves and have protection in Standard, and like this most recent Standard format has definitely convinced me that both of those things should go back on their never print again list and leave them there. Hey, Stuber, thanks for the 17 months. I appreciate that. Welcome. We've had a pretty good set, Paula. You're catching us for the last game of the last match. But the rest of it will all go up on YouTube as always. I think it's very reasonable. This card seems absurd in this matchup. This gets to deal a damage to anything when a goblin dies. How much to get you to move to Las Vegas and work at a corporation again? Way too much money. I am very happy with where I live. If this ever stopped being a job for me, I would probably go back to teaching or just find the analyst job here in town. There's a couple of big insurance companies, other places that have headquarters in Bloomington where I could get a job at. I only have a master's, actually. In fact, one of the things my wife and I have talked about is that if this ever stops being a job for me, if we're at a point where we're financially able to do it, I'm probably going to go do PhD work at the school in Urbana-Champaign. They have a mathematics with a computer science focus as well in Urbana. And I would like to be Dr. Jeff at some point. That sounds fun. Yeah, actually, I half wrote a tweet this morning that I'm probably going to publish later tonight. My channel will be partnered for 4 years this month. It's a long time. That's like forever in internet years. Skirk Prospector is actually a pretty good draw here, because I get to play the Mons now, and I think I'm just mowing down their board. I think I'm going sack a goblin, shoot this, sack a goblin, shoot this, play this prospector, and then sack prospector, shoot this champion again. And then the question is, do I want to sack this to deal one more to play the Matron? I don't think so. I think keeping this in play so I can shoot whatever I want with Mons is pretty valuable. I make almost double an hour as an hourly consultant versus a salaried employee, and I pay less in income tax. Yeah. Land. What are we getting with Goblin Matron here? I think we're just getting Tarfire. How do we feel about Tarfire? Doctor Liability, PhD. Yeah, exactly. This is game 3 of match 5. Yep, we're going to slide on into standard after this one. Yeah, Munitions Expert is currently off with Mage. Sorry, that's a good clarification question. Yeah, Cratermaker can destroy target colorless non-land permanent and kill this. I guess I could have also just Cratermaker this and then got Munitions Expert, but they're stumbling on land, so I kind of like earmarking Cratermaker for Aether Vial. Also, when this Cratermaker sacrifices itself, it's going to deal a damage to something. Is there any reason why Tarfire is not played compared to Shock in other decks? Well, in Modern, we play Lightning Bolt, generally speaking. Alright, so the plan here is to go Cratermaker, sacrifice Cratermaker, destroy this, which then triggers the Mons to deal a damage here. And then I can use Skirk Prospector to sacrifice Goblin Matron, which deals a damage here, and then I get to Tarfire this to finish it off. Seems pretty good. Feeling okay about our spot. Yeah, Burst Lightning would be the shock substitute. In fact, we've played that card in the past. They have a Reflector Mage here. Is this Modern Aristocrats? This card makes it feel like it, kind of. But there's only one copy of this in the deck. Okay, the Goblins deck's a mid-range deck. It grinds really well. Would love to draw a land so we can Ringleader here. Well, at least the Warchief means we can Ringleader next turn. I don't really want... I know I could sacrifice my Prospector to Ringleader here, but with the Mons in my hand, I think the Prospector is more valuable sitting in play. If they have, like, Running Reflector Mages here, we could be in a little bit of trouble. If they don't have Running Reflector Mages, I think we're going to be okay. Running Mantis Riders could maybe do it. Woof. Woof. Ooh, that's rough. That's the second Mantis Rider. So this kills us in 3. Yeah, I can Matron for Munitions Expert is definitely a line. I think I just do this. Okay. I think we're still just like going and getting a Munitions Expert here. Just gonna play this now so things can't go sideways on me. They have another Mantis Rider. We might still be dead, but if they don't have another Mantis Rider, we're in an incredibly good spot. That's unfortunate. It's very possible that I should have kept the Skirk Prospector. Maybe I should have. I think maybe I should have given up the Warchief instead of the Prospector, because it would have made the Mons a lot better. Yeah, my board's unblockable with Mons in play, which is nice. I think we just do this and kill this, just like hope to not get Mantis Ridered again. Just like hope to dodge the 4th one. And they can't kill any of these because the trigger kills this. Yeah, if I would have kept the Skirk Prospector, we probably beat Rider Image. Now we have to fade a draw. Survey says. Whew. All right. Hashtag sometimes lucky. Sometimes lucky. That's a good game of Magic. Like I said, it's you know, if that was the norm of the games in Modern, this format would be great. Maybe they finally do something with the ban list. We'll see. I don't know. I think I'd take this deck again. I think you're probably just dumpstered against Tron most of the time, and you're probably almost always dead against Hogak, but playing the games that we played, against other decks in Modern. Like, if we hit decent matchups, like, this deck generated just, like, genuinely good games of Magic the Gathering. And maybe we just put 4 Leylines in the board and just play the miserable game of, like, Mulligan to Leylines to have a chance against Hoggok if they don't do that again. My one comment here is that these Munitions Experts should definitely all be in the main, and I think someone else said Jim came to that conclusion too. I don't know what exactly you shuffle around to make that happen, but I think I want all of these in the main deck for sure. This card's super powerful. At any rate, we're going to go ahead and roll on into some Standard Arena here. Got 3 different decks we're playing today in Standard. My goal moving forward is to do 2 Magic